I see things. You laugh at an old man. There's them that laughs and knows better.
Seen the TV cameras yet?
That's what I'm getting right now is these weird chills.
It's a dog-eat-dog world, and from where
Watch
I
out.
sit, there just ain't enough damn dogs.
Is coming from?
He's watching you, friend, I guarantee you that.
Dude, I feel. What was that?
Throw them into darkness for a few hours and then sit back and watch them.
Drug addiction, alcoholism, sadism, bestiality.
We may ask what is real.
Murder, vampire.
Anything beyond that is dangerous.
Cannibalism.
He's a liar.
Dimension.
The demon is a liar.
Sexual
He would like to confuse us.
They pick the most dangerous enemy they can find,
The attack is psychological,
and it's themselves.
powerful. So don't listen. Remember
If it
that.
had ended,
Do not
we
listen.
would not be here.
All we need do is sit back and watch.
That's right. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and from where I sit, there just ain't enough damn dogs.
From where I sit, there just ain't enough damn dogs. Dog world. From where I sit, there just ain't enough damn dogs. Dog world. From where I sit, there just ain't enough damn dogs.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another NY Patriot show. This is a pre-recorded Freaky Friday. There will be a couple of Fridays that I am not available, so I am doing the shows prior. This week I was very excited to have on. I think we had problems booking at one other time, and then today I almost screwed up the time and totally screwed it up. I would have been going on at 7 and they would have been sleeping. I do have from the UK on with me today the Occult Hauntings. I came across them just trying to find new shows or just new people to have on. And I was actually very interested in what they got going on. I'm not going to get too into it. I'll let them talk about it. But they do kind of like, from what I got it, I could be totally wrong. It's like ghost tours. You go to different places and you take them around that are supposedly known for hauntings and stuff. I thought that was cool as shit. So I was like, I got to get them on, and they're from the United Kingdom as well. So, I mean, there's places over there that I don't know about. So enough out of me. We have Kimmy and JP from the Occult Hauntings. Let everybody know, unfortunately, I didn't have time to put your links in the bottom, but let everybody know like what you do and where they can find your stuff as well.
Yes.
Okay, so we're the Occult Hauntings. We're on Mozilla.com, aren't we?
Yeah, it's our website.
And we're on Facebook, the Occult Hauntings, and on Instagram as well. So you can find us on there. So please give us a follow and a like and what have you.
Oh, after the show, I'll put all the links in too. I just didn't have time now.
Brilliant. So what we do is we do events on any day of the week, really, at haunted venues around England, mainly northwest of England, so Liverpool, Manchester, Stoke, around that areas. We find places where have got history of hauntings, which is really interesting, but they date back. Some places date back to 1800s,
1067.
Wow,
so the
that
history
old
goes back. Yeah, really mad. So we've just come back from one on Friday, haven't we? At a place called the Four Crosses in Cannock, which is Stoke. I don't know if you've heard of Stoke.
No.
You don't. So we've been there. So that used to be a pub back in, was it the
1637? I think.
1637 it was first around.
Holy shit! These places are old.
It's been crazy, and there's been obviously history of people deaths and stuff like that. Suicides and it was a good night, really good night. We had Ouija board action.
Really?
Tipping, we had all sorts going on. Yeah,
we had a metal chair being thrown across the room.
Well, see, now that I would have considered weird or wild when I asked you earlier if you had any wild stories. I would put. All right. I'm saying like that, I would have considered weird and wild. Real quick before you get into it more, just if I can ask, all right, you said you guys do it every day of the week, or what? How often do you do these things?
Well, it's not our day jobs.
Okay.
It's not our day jobs.
All right, yeah, that's right.
So we do mainly Fridays and Saturdays.
Oh,
sometimes
okay.
Sundays.
Right.
And then when it's school holidays, because I'm a teacher.
And I'm a therapist.
Kim's a therapist. So then we do it in the school holidays.
Nice. So, and I wanted to ask, is there any type of equipment that you both use when you go into these things?
Oh, we have quite a lot of equipment, don't we?
Yeah. See, that's the thing I would like, if you don't mind, maybe just running off, or I know some of them, probably most people know what they are already, but even if you give it just a little bit of a reason why you use the equipment, I'd just like to cover that if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it. What's your...
So we've had some music boxes created, haven't we? And they tend to be a favourite of the spirits. So yeah, we had some music sensors put on. I've actually got one here. Do you want me to just grab it?
Show it, yeah?
Sure, go for it.
Show your music box.
Is these like one of the things where it flicks through like almost like radio stations and sees if it'll pick anything up?
So this is specifically made for us from Ghost Detectors UK. A bit of a plug for them.
Nice.
So this has a music box, a REM pod.
Oh, and grid lights there. Sorry if I've hurt
Oh,
anyone.
Look at that. That's wild.
Yeah, a REM pod goes
So
off.
if you go near it, obviously it will go off.
Yeah, it won't go off there.
Wow.
And then it has music.
Oh shit, okay.
Which is a favourite of the really good children's spirits, isn't it?
Yeah,
Child spirits. They love it. Yeah, they love it. So that's one of our favourites. But we use an app called Necrophonics.
Oh, I've heard of that actually, but I don't know what it does. But I've heard of that app.
It's amazing. It's really good. It just scans white noise, basically. Goes through white noise and picks up anything what's around. So we've had some really good responses, like intelligent responses through that app. We've had, it was Friday night actually, we had a few voices and names come through. And 2 weeks ago, we had not a young lad, he was about 18, 19 on one of our events, and his name come through the box and started speaking. This box started speaking back to him, this app, and he thought it was one of his family members.
Oh wow, that's bugged out.
Which is wild.
Yeah. You guys...
We've also bought a boo buddy, which we call Pugsley. We got that from Ghost Stop over your end.
Yeah, from America.
And on Friday we had a really intelligent response from Boo Buddy, because he's an interactive talking bear, and the Boo Buddy said, "What colour is my tummy?" And we had the Necrophonics app, and the tummy colour was green, and the app, so the spirit who came through on the app said green straight away. So we do have some very intelligent responses.
It wasn't even a second. It was literally, what colour was my belly? And the app just went green.
And there's absolutely no connection at all with Boo Buddy or the Necrophonics app. So that was interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was mad.
Do you guys use any like EMF detectors and like voice recorders too, or no?
Yeah, we've got voice recorders, EMF. We've got quite a few EMFs. We have actually, is it Lamborghinis?
No, they're REM pods.
Oh, they're REM pods, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. What about, do you use any thermal cams or anything like that? That gets, I know, expensive, I think, right?
We've not really got thermal cams.
We've got infrared.
We've got infrared, and we've got the SLS equipment.
Oh, okay, all right, nice. That shoots.
All that,
what does that do again? That shoots out like does that shoot out the lasers and the beams and stuff?
Well, it's basically on an iPad, and it picks up like part of the people there. So if someone's there in the thing, they'll pick you up. But we've had where it comes in where there's no.
It's
no
like
one
little
there.
stick men.
Yeah.
Oh.
And there's nothing there. You know, like off Ghost. Sorry, is it Zach?
Yeah, I was just gonna bring him up. That's
Ghost
like,
Adventures.
yeah. It's always like someone's humping one of his friend's shoulders or some shit with that thing. Yes, yeah. Zach Baggins uses that a lot.
I should know his name, really.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So yeah, we use all that. We've got quite a bit, haven't we?
We've got
quite a lot.
Quite a bit of equipment, and then I'm currently having made some Barbie REM pods. So I've got some old Barbie cars, and I've sent those through to the company who's made our music boxes, and they're going to sort my Barbie car REM pods out. So
Yeah.
So it's something a bit different.
We try and be different. That's what we try.
That's interesting. That's out of the thinking outside the box. That's a good idea, actually. Now, how long, you said you guys have all this equipment. How long have you been seriously doing all this stuff too?
To be honest with you.
So the company's only been going since, when was it? The first event was a month ago.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
But our actually investigating, we've been going for a while. We've investigated quite a bit, me and Kim. But the company's...
It's in its infancy.
It started, a month ago, wasn't it? The first one?
It was, yeah.
But that's going really well.
Yeah,
Selling out,
all the tickets sold out, everyone's loved it, and it's going really, really well. So
nice.
We're getting lots of messages and what have you. Yeah, it's good.
What made you, get into this stuff? Like, I mean, were you always interested in this stuff as a child? Like, how do you feel like, you know what, let's start ghost hunting? I mean, nothing wrong with it, but I'm just like...
We've both had experiences, haven't we, through our lives?
Yeah, we've both had experiences, but I was a skeptic, if I'm going to be quite honest with you.
Nice, okay.
I was a skeptic, and when we first started...
She was well annoying. It was like, Kim, shut up, there's a ghost.
I've ruined it for you quite a few times. No, it's about being honest to this business as well. You know, we're looking for the supernatural, aren't we? You know, we're not going to just create it. Yeah. That wouldn't be exciting for us either.
I think it proper started when we both got together, and it was your house, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So Kim used to live in a house before we met, and she always used to say there was a spirit hanging around.
Well, something watching me, odd things would happen, because my old house was 1870, so it's Victorian property, I've had some weird experiences in that house. Not anything sinister or anything, but I'd be doing my therapy training through COVID, and I'd be online on the iPad, and my mentor would say, "You've got your hand up. What would you like? What would you like?" And I said, "I've not put my hand up at all." But I could see someone pressing, like the thumb. Is that how you explain it?
So
like the thumb imprint.
Touchscreen.
Yeah. So there was quite a lot of that, and my mentor would continuously say to me, "Can you please put your hand down?" And I'm like, "I've not got my hand up." And I'd just end up starting to think I'm going crazy right now, and I'd turn to the side and I'd be like, "Can you please stop doing that, because it's really not me." And it was just really, really odd. Yeah, very odd.
The night we actually moved out, we thought, why not do an investigation on your own house? Because we're moving out the next day.
We didn't want to open it up when we were in the house.
Well, at least if you find anything crazy, you know you're leaving.
Well, the final night we sat there, no furniture, nothing in the house. Thought, we'll sit down, let's try and communicate with something. We've got all this on video, by the way, so we can link it for you.
We can share it.
Yeah.
But we have to speak to the media companies.
But so we just sat there and we're like, communicate to us, and all of a sudden the house just went boom and shook. And we were like, us being interested, got straight up with the camera, ran off. It was it, and we couldn't find anything. But we showed people the videos, and you can't explain the noise what come out of the house.
Oh,
it was
really, really weird.
And then because I've got two children, Snow and Pebble. We put them to bed that night, and I don't even know why we were videoing. I think it was the last night, and we just wanted to video, and we were saying good night to the house. I think we'd had maybe like one beer or something, just to just say goodbye to the house. And on the footage we have got, and what did we say? Love you to the house. I don't even know why we said we love you to the house.
It's a British thing.
And you can hear back someone saying,
so saying love you back.
And it was like, oh my God. And I'm like, JP, you shitting with me? No, it wasn't. So absolutely crazy. But yeah, we have that footage, so we will end up sharing that.
Awesome, thank you. What are other, like, all right, you mentioned other, like, did you have your own experiences, JP, did you have your own experiences prior to that made you, kind of a believer in the paranormal?
Yeah, I've had the DVDs and that, haven't I? So when I was, I don't know how old I was, probably high school, probably about 12, 13 years old, we moved into a house with my mum and dad and brother. And in that house and in my bedroom, the history was an old man passed away in my bedroom, literally in that room a day before we moved in. So that was a bit like, okay, I'll have to stay in this room. And we were I was just chilling out. My mum and dad had gone out, my brother had gone out somewhere. And I'm thinking, I'm going to say DVD now. I said old, a DVD. I was thinking, what DVD should I watch? And there was a big case on my wall, and they were all jammed in, and there's no way they could be pulled out unless I just pulled them out myself. So I'm standing there looking, going, oh, what can I watch? And I kid you not, this DVD just shot out. And I was like, okay, I'm watching that one. But what was it was about? It was an old film of my dad's, and it was like a John Wayne film. No. And it was apparently the old man's favourite films. He used to live there. So I went straight downstairs and watched a John Wayne film for 2 hours. I didn't even want to watch it, but the spirit chose, so I watched.
Holy shit.
So that was one of my first times, but we've had a few, haven't we?
Well, yeah, so the school that we both work in, I used to work on the residential side, so the students used to sleep in. And then I used to sleep in as well before I trained as a therapist. And obviously I had my sceptical mind at the time, but I couldn't debunk some of the experiences that I had. I woke up one night and my bed was shaking. It was like proper shaking. And I'm like, what's going on? Is there an earthquake? I mean, it's England, isn't it? We don't have earthquakes.
Yeah, we don't have earthquakes.
And I'm like, we're not near the train tracks or anything like that. And I just, it was proper shaking. I just said, can you please stop? Because I didn't know what else to do at the time. And it stopped. So that was a bit creepy.
So that school is definitely haunted. Because even in the classrooms, you can feel people in the classrooms.
It was built on a monastery. And some of the other ladies who slept in with us had actually seen a figure standing at the end of the beds. So we actually had it blessed by a priest because people wouldn't sleep in. So the
school's definitely haunted. You can feel it. Yeah. You can feel it around the corridors and stuff.
Yeah, unexplained stuff happens, and I heard a lot of old-fashioned music as well when I'd sleep in, because it would just be myself and someone else who I'd not share a room with. And it would be, in the middle of the night hearing old-fashioned music. It was very nice music, but, I needed to get up early, and it was kind of like, need to get sleep. But
we've experienced a lot, haven't we, really? Then we got together, and then, when you find someone who likes the same thing as you kind of go, right, let's go for it.
Yeah, nice. And then you bought me my birthday present, and that was going to 30s Drive.
Yeah, have you heard of 30s Drive?
No. What's that?
No, so apparently it's the most haunted house in Europe. Apparently so. There's a film about it called When the Lights Go Out.
I've never heard
made. Of it. You never heard it? It might be. I think it was a British director, wasn't it? Who made it? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went. I bought a ticket for it, and we went there, and that's when we found our fourth member of the family, really, who we know follows us around now. Basically, our little spirit attachment.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Our little pink ghost.
Our little pink ghost.
We do have a picture of that as well, but.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So she follows us around now.
Yeah.
I had I saw someone. Well, I don't know if they're asking you or asking somebody else in the chat. But what, in your opinion, what do you feel is the most valuable ghost hunting piece of equipment that you?
Your voice.
The voice?
To be honest with you. Because I always say to our guests when we come on, you might have all this fancy equipment, but sometimes it's better off just to sit back and call out, because that's where you get your good stuff, isn't it? When you call out, let the spirit come to you.
It's when you get an intelligent response. Yeah. Because all these scientists can debunk the equipment. But it's when you use your voice and you get that intelligent response, even with a cat ball.
Yeah, the little cat balls.
They're really, really good. The flashing cat balls that cats use. We've had some really good intelligent responses from those, haven't we?
I will say, strip it down sometimes. You don't have to use all the fancy equipment.
Yeah.
Maybe use your phone. use a cat ball and use your voice.
Now the
Yeah,
cat
and
ball
always
things. How do those work? Those work as if like kind of like asking the thing to, I guess, touch it in a sense, and it lights up the light, right? Letting you know you're getting a response.
Yeah, so the cat balls won't go off unless you literally prod it. You have to literally
You have
move
to
the cat
touch
ball.
it. And what we always do as well, obviously we're in the infancy of our company, but we will buy brand new cat balls so the guests can open them up themselves. Because we used to go on ghost hunts with other companies, and we'd be like, have they got a button? Have they got a button there? Because we're getting a really intelligent response here, but they must have a button.
Yeah.
And then obviously when we started doing it ourselves, we just like looked at each other and went,
yeah, you realise no one's got a button, and it's intelligent responses.
Yeah, that's actually it's kind of interesting that you said that, because like I saw the people in the chat mentioning certain things. Like I in my opinion, I thought anything showing a magnetic field is impressive and would be very valuable, but I never thought of like the fact of just using your own voice and seeing if you get a reaction from it. I mean, that's pretty basic, but like I guess if you do, like that's impressive in itself, right?
Yeah.
I think we always ask our guests to take at least 3 pictures of the same shot, just to see if they get anything different in the picture in that time. But definitely using your own voice. Equipment's amazing when you do get intelligent responses, but again, it can be debunked, can't it? You know?
No, so I was thinking that people, if they want to, they'll find ways to debunk shit that your technology.
Yeah, of course.
No, I know what you're getting at. Yeah.
But you know, the K2s, the electromagnetic fields. You know, if you go next to a plug socket.
Oh yeah, it's going to go up anyway.
It's going to go off.
Yeah.
You know,
you've got your phone on, yeah.
Yeah.
It goes off
you need to turn your phone onto airplane mode. Otherwise, it's going to go off. And we do know some companies do that, and that's just not something that we do.
Oh, that's interesting. I never thought of that.
We want to find the supernatural. We don't want to be.
Don't want to fake it.
No, that wouldn't be fun at all.
Unfortunately, I do think there's a lot of fakers out there, but it is what it is.
Oh, yeah, of course there are. Yeah.
And what sucks is that I feel like it makes people who are taking this shit serious and legit look silly. You know?
Yeah. Because my dad
and my mum
and your mum do not believe at all. They're the biggest unbelievers ever. So my dad always says, "Oh, you're starting this company. What are you going to do? Hide behind and start setting stuff off?"
Yeah.
We had a live on our first one. Someone did a live, didn't they?
Yeah.
And my brother even watched it and went, "Oh, where's Kim? I can see JP, but where's Kim? And she's stuck behind him setting buttons off."
And it's really offensive. I would take it really offensive.
We were like, I went and seen him and went, "How dare you?" But yeah, non-believers do think that, don't they? Sometimes
we haven't got time to fake at all. We are really busy people.
Yeah.
We just have a genuine hobby for this, haven't we? It's our interest. We love it.
Yeah, I'm sure. No, I mean, if I had the equipment, I'd probably be out doing the same shit.
You'll have to come over to the UK then, won't you?
So now some of these places, I know we spoke prior, and I wanted to get. I have someone asking, have you ever been to the Boleskine House?
Do you want somebody?
Boleskine House? I don't know if you've even heard of that. It was Aleister Crowley's old house.
No, I've never heard.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fucking demolished now, and it's been on fire. But yeah, it was.
Where is that? Is that over the pond? Is it?
It's actually, I know he was that house. Aleister Crowley's house was over on the water by Loch Ness.
So by the Loch Ness.
Yeah.
That's miles away from us.
Oh, okay.
That's Scotland.
That's Scotland.
We're yet to hit Scotland. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was gonna actually get into the places that you've been to. Some of them I'm sure most of them have their reasons why you're going there. Some of the places that you go to, is there any like the history that you think is like really like a huge reason why you're going there, and like the stories and supposedly what happened?
Yeah, a massive one. We say our favourite one is a place called Newsham Park Hospital in Liverpool.
So it used to be an orphanage for seamen's children, and the conditions
horrible.
Were awful for them. A lot of them experienced a lot of abuse it wasn't nice, and then it changed into an asylum.
Psychiatric. Yeah. And if you go now, you literally walk in. It's like going through a time warp. It's like you get there and all the stuff's still there. Even the chair where you sit down and get electric, all that's still there.
Yeah, the electric shock.
It's crazy.
Holy
It's like going through a time. Yeah. It's we're there, aren't we? In October again.
Yeah, October the 20th. We might do a live actually. We might do a live.
But that's because of the history behind that place, and you can actually see there's a corridor that's called the Naughty Boys Room, and as you go into this corridor, there's little doors where obviously the workers, if they're naughty, used to just chuck the kids in these little doors and just keep them there for days. And obviously kids passed away there, and some kids didn't. But it's a mad place because of the history, because it's gone from a orphanage to an asylum to hospitals. It's
a beautiful building. It's absolutely gorgeous.
How big is it?
How, sorry?
Is it a big building?
Oh, it stands out because obviously Liverpool's quite new. When you go to Liverpool, and then this building's just there from years and years and years ago. This massive big building, and it's got its own lake and everything over the road. It's crazy.
But you look at it and you go, oh, okay, yeah, that's eerie. That is eerie. There's a lot of history there, a lot of sadness there. There's a lot of rooms, so you're walking through and there's just room after room after room, and you constantly feel like you're being watched. But yeah, we had a lot of activity there, didn't we, in the Naughty Boys room, and we did a lot of table tipping, and that was the first time where the table was like Beauty and the Beast. It was moving. The table was moving, and I'm like, right, okay, I'm a trained therapist, and I work with a clinical hypnotherapist as well. I do hypnotherapy, so I work with the subconscious mind, and I'm there going, JP, are you like moving this table? But our hands were both hovering, and at the time it was honestly it was like Beauty and the Beast. Things were coming alive, and I was like, surely the company that we're with has put something underneath the floors, or
we picked it up. We picked the table up and took it somewhere else.
But you'd have to put something over the whole square footage of the building, and it just absolutely crazy.
The history of that place is amazing. But like you say, in England we have quite oldish history, don't we, with loads of buildings. So we have. Where else have we been?
Have you done any castles or anything like that?
We've not done a castle yet. No. We want to go to Anglesey. Have you heard of Anglesey in Wales?
No.
So Anglesey in Wales is a prison there. I can't remember what it's called.
We can't really understand the Welsh.
Yeah, I can't remember. But there's also Shrewsbury Prison down in Shrewsbury, which is still standing. This really, really old prison. So we're getting that on the books next year. And the history between that was there was a lot of prolific killers who were hung there, who all spent the last days there.
Oh,
and
really?
They've still got the hanging noose and everything where you got hung.
Yeah.
So.
But we've got because obviously we're in the infancy of the company. Next year is going to be a big year, isn't it? We're going to try and get some really quirky, different venues. Castles. We'd love to do a castle. We don't want to do everything all at once.
Then you have nothing else to do.
Because obviously we're really busy during our day jobs, and then we've got 3 children between us. So, so it's something that we're very particular as well in what we want.
Like you said, there was history. So we look at the history. We want venues that have got really good history.
Yeah.
And to be fair to you, we want venues that haven't been investigated as well.
Something new, right? Yeah, a little bit more original. I get that for sure,
To be honest with you, though, we only got some of the venues because we knew other companies were going with them. Mm-hmm. There was one particular venue where we went and we didn't look at the history. And my eldest daughter, Snow, she's 9. We take the girls with us to look at the venues during the day, and they absolutely love it. And we took them along, and we're looking through the building. The lady's showing us around, and really quirky, different. Just the place that we've just gone to actually, which was the 4 Crosses in Cannock. Got back in the car to drive up back home on the motorway, and Snow said to me, Mummy, she said, how many people were with us in the building? And I said, well, it was just JP, but they called him Prince. The girls call him Prince J. Prince J.
Very British. That's
right. A Disney prince. So it's just me, Prince J, Pebble, who's our youngest, and then the lady who was showing us around. And Snow said, I saw a weird man at the fireplace with a really big round head, and he was wearing like weird clothes. And then she said, and I saw a little girl holding like a mummy's hand, and then a teenager in the top bedroom. And I'm like, really?
Yeah,
I said, because obviously, we were thinking, her imagination's gone, her imagination's going. And I said, I'm going to look at the history. And looked at the history, and she got it right with the round-headed soldier. She got it right,
Really?
and I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it at all. So Snow can see things. So yeah.
And how old is? I was going to ask how old is she?
9.
She's 9.
You think? Do you think kids are more prone to picking up on stuff like that?
Yeah, of course they are. Yeah, they've not got our distractions, have they? They've not got the adult distractions, life,
pay bills,
work.
They still have imagination to them, right? they're open to.
Them two have got a big imagination. But because of that, I don't know if you've seen it. We did put it on Instagram. Because of that, we took him on an investigation last Tuesday.
Very controversial.
But we started to take him on not too late. It was only from 9 till 11, half 10.
Half 11, half 9 till half 11.
Half 11. Yeah. Took him out to this building that's not been investigated before. Took them both out. Both loved it. Got a lot of responses. It was brilliant.
We did a mini investigation. Obviously, there was no Ouija board involved.
Yeah,
no table tipping.
None of that stuff.
Just the equipment and our voices, and they absolutely loved it, and they did really, really well, didn't they? So check us out on YouTube. Go Start in Family.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. No, I'll get all those links. Like I said, unfortunately, I fucked up and didn't have enough time. You mentioned something. You mentioned an old place you went to before, right? I think you mentioned something with 10,000 or something like that.
That was Wincham. Is that Wincham Hall or not?
1067, I think.
1060. That's Wincham Hall. Yeah.
Yeah, Wincham Hall. So we.
And what's like the history behind that, if you don't mind me asking? Because that's old as shit.
Yeah, it is old, and you can actually still see the old markings of where the building used to be on the grass. It's mad. So what used to be massive, apparently. So at the moment now, it's a big building, but it's been gone down. It used to be a big hall, apparently. But when you actually search for the history, there's not much history on the actual building.
However, room number 5 is very, very active. So that's going to be one that we are. We're actually going to be sitting down with the owner on Wednesday, and we're going to work out some dates for us to do some events there, aren't we?
But for being at 1066,
there's going to be
being that old. There's going to be something there.
But again, we don't like to look too much into the history, do we? Because we want things to come through, and then we can verify it with the owner as well.
Oh, okay. You know what that reminds me?
We don't want to put things into people's minds. We don't like to put any type of history into people's minds, because then they can recreate it throughout the nights.
No, I got you. There was I forgot the name of the fucking show. It's one that I kind of watch, like, just for entertainment. It's an old retired cop, and then there's this Amy something. She's like some kind of medium or whatever. And a lot of times, whenever they go to these people's houses, I don't think, like, the cop dude, who's an ex-retired cop, he normally looks into the history of the house. Doesn't tell the other chick about it, who goes into the house to read it. And then presents it all at the end when they talk to the guest. So the girl who came in wasn't influenced by what he researched.
Yeah.
And then as she's telling her story, if it goes along with anything that he's actually come across, he'll mention it too. So I could see how that has its own benefit, is like, you kind of maybe want to know a little bit what you're going into, but not too much, because then you might already you might already be like putting the thought in your mind, like, I'm looking for this, or this is what happened, and that's what that is.
I think it's that when we do our events, obviously we need to know the history.
Dead files,
we don't tell anyone the history. we say we'll tell you at the end, but I think when we do our events, we do need to be clued up on our stuff, because otherwise we don't want
Well, we do, otherwise people won't want to come back. But obviously new venues, we like to go and do an investigation first, which is like Wincham Hall, and we'll do it first and we'll see what comes through to us, and then obviously we'll research the history before the guests come on.
You know what I ask now, like some of these old buildings, like, I mean, like this building that you're talking about now, what was it made out of? You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously this isn't sheetrock, you know?
Jeez, this is like a geography question.
No, I'm saying, is it like a brick building or a stone building?
My
Like,
brother-in-law's a geophysicist. I could ask him. It's going to be like really old.
I would say, we've been told it's quite original, so most of the stuff is original fittings inside.
It's going to be like a stone,
We've been told, so it's going to be stone. Yeah, I'd say stone. But most of the venues we do go to have got original fittings from, like, obviously some of it's new, but they do keep the original stuff inside, which is sometimes that makes a night, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Seeing all the good stuff.
yeah, it's funny how I just we had somebody in the chat. This is why I was getting into like what they're made out of. They said, "Oh, limestone, maybe." I was just wondering what some of the older places.
And that use a lot over here.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, I know, some people. I don't know how you think, but when it comes to like you investigating the paranormal, sometimes certain stones or limestone or like having running water, they think may help induce the paranormal effects. So I was just wondering sometimes if what these old places are made out of, if that already kind of holds a charge or does something, has something to do with it,
I tell you what does set off paranormal: basements.
We don't do basements.
We do not do basements.
Really?
You go down there, it's dead moist, the things are going to go off.
It sets the equipment off like that.
We could take people down there and just let it all happen, but we don't tend to really.
We did in Four Crosses.
But we did the Ouija board down there.
We just didn't take the equipment down. Because you take equipment down to the basement, sometimes it does go off because of the humidity, moisture.
Oh. We're not saying all the time.
Yeah.
We're not
That's
saying
interesting to
that
know, though.
every single time you take a piece of equipment down there that it's not paranormal. But we know, with regards to the science behind it, stuff is going to go off.
So we just take Ouija's or table tipping stuff. What can't really go off because of the
Have you ever what's your take on, like, I know sometimes some people say like even trying to do stuff outside because of the elements and all that stuff, it's like kind of hard to get accurate readings. Do you agree with that too, or no?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
We've done one at Norton Priory in Runcorn. That's another old venue for you. It's literally a priory from, I can't remember the date, but it's been preserved, an old priory inside a museum. It's nuts. And then, but it goes outside as well to all the old bits, and we did an investigation outside there, didn't we? Yeah. Around the old dug up, basically graves. They were dug up. Oh, wow. We've actually got pictures inside them, haven't we? Yeah. For some stupid reason, we went in and got a few pictures. Very small. But we did a bit there, didn't we? With I think it was a Necrophonics app. We had headphones, people listening to music, trying to get stuff through. There was a bit, wasn't there? But I think the wind and the elements.
Yeah, you can debunk it.
Kind of made some of that. Yeah, made some of the words come through.
Yeah, no, I've always thought.
Debunk as they go along. That's what we do.
Yeah, no, I've even seen. The reason why I even asked that is because one of the reasons why I probably did like this show more than others when I was younger, I think it was Ghost Hunters. They seemed to like. At one point, they were very big with debunking a lot of shit, and then later down the road, everything was everything. But I do remember them even at one point even saying they weren't too big on doing outside stuff because they said there's just so many factors to take in. Like, it's easy to kind of just run along and fake shit, kind of, or just find nothing and think you found something.
Yeah. Well, you could just be standing there and you could go, "Oh, something's just touched me."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's Zach's. That's Zach's move every other episode. Oh, something just touched me. Something just pushed me. Yeah. Not to shit on Zach. I mean, I love the show. It's entertaining, but he's, in my opinion, he's unfortunately he's the one that might make serious people like you look silly, because I think he looks rather silly. But it is what it is.
I do want to go to his museum though.
Oh, fuck yeah! So would I. Hell yeah.
I'd love to go there.
Yeah, he's a very very interesting dude, because I know like he's also very, in my opinion, I think he's very big into the occult. He seems to be covering a lot of places like that the last 2 years. He's collecting stuff. Not knocking the guy. I'm just wondering, is he into something that maybe got him as popular as he is now? Who knows? Yeah. I've also thought too, to be totally honest with you, as crazy as this sounds, a lot of the equipment you use, like if I was to try to do magic, those things would be great to pick it up as well. So it's like, could you be going there and maybe doing your own thing and just trying to see if you could get it on camera? Who knows? But that sounds a little, that sounds a little conspiracy. But I have wondered about that with some ghost hunting. Like, are you kind of, because when you do these things, it's like, you just did an hour show for the 13 hours you were there. What the fuck went on in that other time? You don't know what's going on the whole show.
Oh, we can't turn the button on. We can't turn the button on for the paranormal. So people, come and do events and what have you. And we've been on loads and loads of events, and people are like, "There's nothing happening. We're getting no activity." You have to be patient. You have to be patient.
Well, Friday night for crosses, I'd say the first 3 to 4 hours, people are going, "Oh, well, it's not active." So we're just like, just let it be. And then all of a sudden, things did start happening. But sometimes, you've got to.
And it's your energy as well. If you're not participating, you're probably not going to get a lot back either.
Oh, I find that interesting. I think there could be something to that too. I think just being open to it.
Yeah, definitely.
True, right.
Yeah, and even a phrase that I've heard in magic: "Don't lust the result." Sometimes when you try to lust for something to happen, it just won't. You gotta just let it be. So that's interesting that you've even said that yourself with the paranormal. What about some other places that you've? Because now I'm interested in, like, in some of the older ones. What are some other old places that you've been to? Because I'm starting to wonder now, like, if like the architecture in itself might have something to play with it.
Oh yeah, when it goes through, yeah.
Have you ever been to any places that actually had running water through it or anything like that?
Running water.
I know the lake probably wouldn't count because it's not moving, but like anything with the stream near it or anything like that. That might be a hard question. I put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Not really.
Okay, I know. I'm just wondering.
No.
All right.
No.
So what about one of the other places then that you've been to, if you don't mind covering one of those?
So we've been
we've been everywhere, haven't we? Really?
We've been so many places.
I know. I'm trying to pick a really, really good one.
British Drive. Where do we go to British Drive? Ocean.
See, it's just my favourite one.
Yeah.
Crew Lyceum.
Oh, we've got a few theatres. So we've got Crew Lyceum. So
we've got an army camp.
We've got an army camp. Yeah.
Oh, all right. So tell me about the army camp. How old was that?
So the army camp was from World War One, and apparently it was an American base. So it was your guys' American base. Stayed over in Stoke Leek,
So there's a hospital there. There's an old pub there. It's massive, isn't it? I couldn't really tell you how big it is, but it is massive.
Yeah, it's used for World War One, and apparently we've actually not been yet, but we're going to go in a few weeks. Like these sightings of, you can hear planes and stuff like that, and sightings of old soldiers and stuff like that. So
they say that. There's been a lot of accusations of that with like battles like Gettysburg or just certain like battles here where supposedly you could sometimes pick up like they look like soldiers, I guess maybe still wandering,
Yeah.
But the reason when you mentioned the army thing, I was going to ask you if there was like a triage or like some kind of like hospital on the grounds.
Yeah,
because I could see that. I mean, unfortunately, I hate to say it, just there might have been a lot of deaths there. So I could see it possibly being a place of interest. It's interesting.
Yeah, there's one. We've been told about one little building there where someone it was actually another investigator who said to us, said to me, just be careful of that room. There's a room in there where is supposed to be really, whatever's in there is really dangerous. So I'm quite interested to go into that room and have a little investigator to use there. But he said he went and he said he basically was in there for a few seconds and was just like, no. And walked down. I don't remember his name. It was Stoke. Stoke-on-Trent Paranormal. It was. So two fellas from that. who come on our event and he said, yeah, it was a really creepy room in the army camp.
Oh.
So.
But yeah, we've got some really cool ones coming. We've got like Bow Manor Hall. That's a massive hall.
Bow Manor Hall. I think that.
I don't know when it was built. I'm not gonna.
I think that's 1800s. I think
Yeah.
a big hall.
Yeah.
I think around there. I think.
But again, just to stress to you, we are in the infancy of our company, and we've got so much to learn as we go forward in this, and we just want to learn, don't we? So,
well, that's all this is, right? Is you're like basically like scientists or investigators, you know what I'm saying? And that's what it is.
Yeah.
Once you start thinking you know everything, that's when you're fucked. You have to stay open-minded and just be like, I'm still learning.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I do have some questions for you. I have some and some of the guests. Well, not guests, the listeners. You're the guest. For one, do you have a preferred type of an Ouija board that you guys use? I don't know if there's different types. Do you have a preferred type of a Ouija board?
Well, we had ours made, didn't we?
Yeah. We've got ones that we've bought from Amazon.co.uk.
We have the ones from Hasbro. That's the normal ones, but we have had ones made for us.
Yeah.
You've had ones made for you guys?
Yeah, there are. Yeah.
Is that what you prefer? And you prefer to use that one?
And all that stuff, as they say.
Oh, really? Oh, that's impressive. Fuck, you guys have an equipment made for you, Ouija boards? Look at you.
Yeah, but we know where they come from then, don't we? Once we get them made, they're brand new, so we know where they come from.
No, I get that, yeah. No, I understand that too.
We are open to ones that have been used, because
That's very smart. And then do you have, and I actually think this is a great question. It was something that I was going to get at, and that I was going to ask too. Do you have like a way that my listener has, a configuration for a ghost hunt, or do you have like, do you have kind of like a template that you use? Like when you go to a place, is like, I know, like, all right, like you mentioned before, sometimes going to outlets can make the EMF reader go off. When you go to these places, do you sometimes do a base reading before to get an idea of what the EMF is normally like? Like, do you have a setup of how you investigate, or are you still like kind of trying all different things because you're, in the...
So we do open up the room because you do all your openings, don't you?
Yeah.
Before
I do a little meditation of protection.
Oh, okay. All right. That's interesting.
Just to make sure we're safe. But we do base. We have started doing it, especially now, before the guests come. We set up the equipment and we do make sure when we set them out, what's it close to.
We make sure we turn all the plugs off and what have you as well. And we like.
I would assume that helps with knocking off EMF shit, right? Turning.
And going back to before, all the guests, everyone turns their airplane mode off. Phone onto airplane mode as well. So we debunk as we go along. We really do, because we want it to be as supernatural as possible. The findings that we find. We do like, so obviously we do the opening, and then we do like to get the whole group together first before everybody goes off, and then we do a big call out. We everybody goes around the circle and introduces themselves to the spirits, just to say what they want. Like some people just say, "Don't touch me," and some people just say, "Pull my hair, kick me, throw me to the floor." They're like, "Whoa." We're always the ones that say,
Those are the Zach Baggin fans.
Yeah.
I want you to scream at me. Throw bricks at me.
So they go around the circle, introduce yourself, and then we do like about 20 minutes call out all together, get the energy up. We've had some really good responses, haven't we, with that? Like equipment has been going off. Yeah. Really good. Yeah. And then we just go off and ghost hunt, don't we? And,
but we have an agenda, because obviously with us working in education, so everyone's put into groups, and the evening, it's not military, because obviously people don't enjoy themselves, but we like it to run smoothly, don't we? Yeah. We want everyone to have the best experience possible with what we do.
Yeah, and it does that with... should we mention Morticia? Should we go?
Yeah, I don't know. Do you know Morticia?
No.
You've not seen our car? You've not seen our car?
No.
No, we've got a hearse.
Oh shit! Maybe I saw. And you guys use a hearse?
That's one of our cars.
That's awesome.
So if you go onto Occult Hauntings on Instagram.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got to be on Instagram, right?
You're gonna see Morticia.
People are always saying to us, "Where's Morticia? Why have you not got Morticia?" It's like, just let her rest. Calm down.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's brilliant, isn't she? But as you say, that's a hot topic, really. Sometimes people love it. Some people maybe don't.
Gotcha.
Yeah, some people can find it quite disrespectful,
Yeah.
but we mean well. And Morticia, she is a retired hearse, so we're gonna use her as our ghost hunting mobile, and we take the kids out in her.
Yeah, the kids come out.
we took her for a spin in Manchester, and people, it was well received, wasn't it? People were taking pictures, were waving, they were saying, "You guys are the real life Addams family," and the girls were like, "We're famous, Mummy, we're famous," and they're waving. So yeah, you can see pictures of Morticia on our social media.
She's awesome.
That's awesome. I want to ask you more about the. Do you go in like you mentioned the meditation?
Yes.
So are you like, are any of you like practicing when it comes to like, I guess, witchcraft or magic or anything of that, or do you kind of like meditation and incense?
People might think that I'm a witch.
I'm not knocking you if you say yes. I'm not gonna. I'm just asking.
No, I'm not a witch, but
okay.
I do love witches. I love all you witches.
You're a therapist, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a therapist, and I do meditations anyway. So we just incorporated a little bit of a prayer in there.
Nice.
Not that I've ever been completely religious, but more so for just other people's protection as well. I wanted to incorporate something in for them, just to, ensure we don't take anything negative home with us, and everything can stay within the building.
However, we do find that kind of stuff interesting. It's very interesting. When you read into it and watch documentaries on it, it's really interesting, isn't it? Or witchcraft and stuff.
Yeah, it's something that we probably might look into a little bit more.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
It would probably be interesting to do eventually, maybe if you do go to a place that has a lot of activity. Well, then I guess it would depend on if the people are able to meditate themselves. But if you got everybody in the room and meditated and put on your equipment, wonder if you'd pick up anything then.
Yeah.
Like that. Honestly, like I want to get a thermal camera because I really do think if I put myself into a deep meditation, you will see something change.
Some come out, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
As crazy as that sounds. So I'm wondering, like, if everybody was on the same board and then you happen to find a place that might just be a hot spot, the meditation might be a tool then.
Yeah.
Something to think about maybe in the future.
No, I like that one.
Talking about that, though, we're on Friday night. You had a human pendulum?
Really? What's that?
Yeah, so you get someone, everybody circled around holding hands, and then you get someone in the middle, and you ask the spirit to say which way is yes or no, and the person rocks backwards and forwards. And then so you ask a question, the person will go forwards for yes or backwards for no. And on Friday, I think it was the first ever time we've had it, haven't we?
Yeah.
A lady.
Can I just say that I don't like.
You don't like it, do you?
Pendulums.
Well, I'm saying it was an experience.
Yeah, but everyone can believe what they want to believe,
Yeah.
and because obviously with me practicing therapy, working with the subconscious mind, if you're going to be, giving suggestions to people, they can naturally act on that suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
However, what I saw the other night,
this lady on Friday maybe threw it in the air a bit, didn't she? So
yeah, she did.
She was rocking backwards and forward, and obviously me and Kim were a bit like, okay, fair enough. And then all of a sudden she started shaking and just burst out crying. So we were all like a bit, oh, okay.
Yeah, she had a very emotional experience, and a lot of the people within the seance, they experienced that as well.
That's quite a bit of emotional reaction.
So that was different. That was different. It opened my eyes a little bit. I'm not going to shut it out completely.
But it was a good experience to watch. It was different. It was different.
Yeah. And just because I don't believe in something like that doesn't mean that
Someone else doesn't.
someone else doesn't. You know, so it doesn't mean that we're not going to do that type of thing. But yeah, we're open to it a little bit more now, aren't we?
Honestly, I think that's actually pretty fucking awesome that you're saying yourself right now it's not your thing, but it's still something you try because it could be. I think that's pretty cool that you're actually just admitting that. That's very honest, but at least you're like, fuck it. I mean, you know, we'll try it anyway. You know, see what happens.
We had on our first opening night, we had the Cheshire Ghost Hunters.
Yeah, we'll give you a plug.
Give them a plug. They're just starting out themselves as well. They asked me, why do you not do human pendulums? And I gave them exactly the same answer that I just gave yourself.
So it's the same with glass diversion, where you put your finger on it and the glass is supposed to move. Yeah. Like we always say, that's not my favourite thing to do. No. Because the glass diversion basically is people can push it with a finger around. They can move that glass around themselves subconsciously, can't they? Yeah. And energy can just push it around. So we say that openly. We say you can do it, but you know, it's a bit like Ouija board as well. Sometimes people subconsciously push around the planchette without them knowing.
That's going to lead into a question, and then maybe we'll wrap it up after this one. But another question that I did have, and it's you kind of getting into it a little bit now, I think, with what you just said. Do you think it's possible to see like these paranormal things, or you pick up this stuff? Do you think it's possible though that it's coming from the people and not actually?
I think sometimes, yes.
I think it does sometimes, yeah.
But then there's been times where
we can't debunk something. Sometimes something happens, and you're like, right, no one could have done that.
Yeah, I mean, people are coming onto our events with wanting hopefully a message from their loved ones who have passed over. So yeah, I think subconsciously one could do that. However, the experiences that we have had, and I trust JP. Yeah, I absolutely trust each other. When we do it,
some of the stuff
it's absolutely crazy.
But yeah, I do think some people can come out wanting to get messages and wanting to do it, so they do try. Even if you hear a little bang and it's someone next to them, they might pick up on that was supernatural.
Yeah, but again, that's their experience, and we can't shun their beliefs, can we?
Yeah, well, because I've even heard of people, and I do think it's possible. Sometimes I think poltergeists might actually be the person who's experienced it. They're actually making that shit happen with their mind.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I was just wondering if you thought like any of that's possible, like you know.
It is possible. Yeah.
The mind is a very, very, very intelligent.
Oh well, you should know. You should know, right?
It's a computer, so yeah, I do think anything's possible. I think you can
I think you can.
Yeah, you can.
It's just
your
like
imagination.
It's just like when you're asleep, isn't it? And you have a nightmare as a kid.
Of course you can.
That's what you believe that, don't you? You're in a nightmare. So I think.
But there's a lot of experiences that people have that you can't
debunk.
Yeah, nice. Awesome. I had a really good time. This is really different. Yeah, no, it was really cool. And I'm glad to say that you're the first. Well, I'm the first show that you've ever gone on, so that's pretty fucking.
You are. You're our first one.
We popped your cherry. Hey, and listen, maybe in a few months after you've done some more stuff, you can come back on again. You'll already be used to it. You know, you can tell us some more stuff. Would you like to plug all your stuff again? And actually, after the show, if you have the time, send me all your links, and I'll put them in the show notes. But let everybody know where they can find your stuff again now.
So, Occult Hauntings on Instagram will be the Occult_Hauntings. Facebook, we are on Occult Hauntings, so just Occult Hauntings altogether. On our website, it's on Mazzello, isn't it? So it's www.occulthauntings.com with Mazzello. And then don't forget our new YouTube channel, which has just started with the kids, which is the Ghost Hunting Family.
Yeah, just Ghost Hunting
Family. Family.
Yeah.
So we've just started that. So
please subscribe to that.
As the kids say.
Oh, and give us a thumbs up. That's what the kids say. Yeah.
I would like to say thank you, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No, thank you for real. You guys did great for your first time on the show too. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you everybody who was in the chat too. All the people that jumped in the lives. All you awesome people from the Element server that joined. Thank you, Helen, Arnold, Eric, Jonah. You all know who. There's a couple of extra people in there. Thank you, and thank you for some of the questions. That's why I go live, is because I want the listeners, if you have the chance, to ask some questions, because I know I may not always ask the best. Maybe you got better ones to ask. So thank you for all jumping in. And, yeah, that is the end of another NY Patriot Freaky Friday show. I thought it was perfect for Freaky Fridays. I loved it. And like I said, hopefully in the future we can get some more stories from you. And, yeah, definitely check their stuff out. Their notes will be in the bottom. If you're watching it live, I will have the notes in there as soon as I get them from him. So, yeah, until the next one, everybody be well. Later.